When you think of a number 4 seed in the NFL playoffs, you would probably assume the record to be around 10-6 to 12-4. But in 2010, the worst division winner was far off of 10-6. They weren't even 9-7 or 8-8. They were sub 500 at a mere 7-9, but still won the NFC West. This team was the 2010 Seattle Seahawks. In 2009, the Seahawks went 5-11, led by quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, who had a terrible season, with 3,029 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 17 picks. And he threw a pick on 3.5% of his throws. The Seahawks scored just 17.5 points per game and allowed 24.4 points per game under Jim Mora. The Cardinals finished at the top of the NFC West with a 10-6 record, fending off the 8-8 49ers. The Rams finished last with probably one of the worst point differentials ever at negative 261. And they ended up with a 1-15 record, their only win coming against the Detroit Lions 17-10 in Week 9. In 2010, the Seahawks decided to fire Jim Mora and hired Pete Carroll instead, who, with USC, went 97-19 with 2 national championship wins and 4 Rose Bowl wins and 2 Orange Bowl wins. He also won Pac-10 Coach of the Year 3 times. Clearly, his legacy at USC will never be forgotten, and maybe he can translate it to the NFL. He had already had experience in the NFL. He coached the Jets in 1994, in which he went 6-10 and got fired. He coached the Patriots from 1997 to 1999, in which he got fired after getting progressively worse after going 10-6 in 1997 and ultimately getting fired when he went 8-8 in 1999. Fans were definitely hyped up for the 2010 season with a new coach and to see if Matt Hasselbeck would get his redemption. The Seahawks destroyed the 49ers at Quest Field 31-6 in Week 1. Matt Hasselbeck went 18 of 23 for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Week 8, the Seahawks were 4-2 and looking as good as their 2005 team, in which they went to the Super Bowl. Then they suffered consecutive losses to the Raiders and Giants, in which they were outscored 74-10. Their defense was an absolute dumpster fire, as they had allowed 181 points and 22.6 per game. They kept going back and forth between wins and losses, until they decided to go on a 3-game losing streak to put their season in jeopardy. At this point, they were 6-9, it was Week 17, and they were playing the 7-8 Rams at home for the NFC West title. The Seahawks ended up winning 16-6. They finished 23rd in points per game and 25th in points per game given up. Yet they were the NFC West champs and the 4 seed at 7-9. In the playoffs, they played the 11-5 New Orleans Saints. Even though they were at home, they were the underdogs. The Saints had 4 more wins. They had a better defense and offense, and they were the defending Super Bowl champions. But what would happen in that wild card game shocked everybody.
From Quest Field in Seattle, it's Wild Card Saturday, the first game. The New Orleans Saints against the Seattle Seahawks.
Late in the fourth came one of the most famous runs in NFL history, if not the most famous one.
Silent now, as opposed to when the Saints have the ball. Oh, look at this run! What a run! Marshawn Lynch Still on his feet. Has blockers now. He's dancing his way for the touchdown.
The Seahawks ended up winning one of the most unexpected offensive shootouts ever, 41-36. Next week, they traveled to Chicago to take on the number 2 seeded Bears. The Seahawks basically decided to lay down and die through the first 3 quarters as they were down 28-3 at the start of the 4th. But Matt Hasselbeck wasn't going to give up just yet.
And it's Stokely right here. Hasselbeck, end zone, touchdown. That was the Bears that find where Stokely is and try to cover him. That pass is nearly intercepted by Tillman, and then it's caught by Williams.
Of the game, he's going to want his team to finish strong, and that's unacceptable.
46 yards to Obamanu, and now Stokely is in for the touchdown.
The Seahawks ultimately lost 35-24, marking the end of one of the most intriguing playoff stories ever. It was truly a gift to the Seahawks that they won the NFC West, but they still actually won a playoff game. And in that game against the Saints, I would not want to be a defender against this guy.